Man, everywhere I've gone have been sold out of my Mexican Coke. So, like, I have to go with, like, real sugar Pepsi.
Mexican Coke, you mean in the bottle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sucks.
It's the only, like, way I'll drink it.
Is it gone, or they just...
No, it's just been sold out. But, like, I'm, like, I have to, like... That you taste the corn syrup in pop after you switch.
Oh yeah, you get it's a way different flavor.
Yeah, it's disgusting. But this is like real sugar, and you know what? I think there's a difference between Coke and Pepsi. Like I think Pepsi's way sweeter.
I think so. Yeah, I think it is. I like both.
Yeah,
but I think out of a cold fucking can, Pepsi. I like a little bit more.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean I know there's arguments for both. Yeah, but
when I was a kid, I liked Pepsi better, but like now as an adult, I like Coke better. But you know, I should probably stay off all of it. But who cares?
I like both. Yeah. Honestly, I like both.
Well, that's
as long as it's cold.
As long as it's not
and not in plastic.
Not in plastic. Yeah.
Plastic.
I will not drink
soda
pop in plastic. I'm a snob about my pop. Welcome to another episode of
Nerd Out.
I'm Randy. This is Brian, and you know, I guess this is just our opportunity to reminisce and say goodbye to Toys R Us. Look, Toys R Us is gone now, and it's kind of crazy because it's like officially gone now, and like, there was a time when like Toys R Us was like our everything. I mean, there were other toy stores, Children's Palace, KB Toys, Children's World.
But Toys R Us was special.
It was
like
special.
In the 80s, you know, it was wonderful. It's just, I still have dreams to this day of like going into a Toys R Us and finding the hidden shelf of like shit that like every story you've ever heard about it. But sometimes I actually have that dream because I don't know, man.
I know. I remember the end cap. This sticks with me of the G.I. Joe figures, and I remember it was like floor to ceiling, and like I remember looking way up. Yeah. And I was just looking for the Snake Eyes version 2. And I found it. It was way up there. And you see this little, like I must have been like 9, 10 years old, climbing up those like metal racks to grab that Snake Eyes. I mean, it was wall to wall. I mean, toys in general. Like even like when video games were behind that glass. You remember the glass?
Yeah, but even that was sweet.
It was
it's
sweet.
Like I was supposed to just go to the video games, but I'd go check the action figures when you were in between ages and like.
And there was like 3 aisles of action figures. There was like
C6.
Yep. Wow.
C6. And then
the clearance aisle.
Was that C7?
I think it was
the graveyard.
Yeah, the graveyard. Yep. I loved the graveyard with the red stickers on it, and that's what you knew if you had like $5 and you bought a G.I. Joe and you had like $1.29 left. You knew you could go to the graveyard and buy a Bugman of Insecta or something weird, or like a Remco monster or something like that, or Crystal
knockoff Voltron.
Yeah,
whatever the hell that was in the bubble wrapping. Remember that?
Yes.
Like purple Voltron one.
Yes. It was definitely magical. Like there would never be a time. Toys R Us was my preferred toy store. Like KB, I loved for clearance as a kid. Yeah. And then Children's Palace I liked because my parents didn't take us there.
Nobody's parents took them there because they were. Well, maybe once or twice, but it was far away.
Oh, is that what it was?
Toys R Us was close to most people, but like where we grew up, the Toys R Us, Children's Palace was like Pontiac.
Oh, really? See, I thought there was a children. You're right. You might be right. The thing is about Children's Palace that I always liked is they did stock like some stuff that Toys R Us.
The weird shit.
They had Diaclone or not
Godakin.
Godakin. Yep. And I remember never seeing Godakin at Toys R Us. So it was, and it was also like it was a different experience. But Toys R Us was my favorite experience until about 1995-ish. You know, I mean, even when I was a teenager.
Is that when it? Yeah, I mean, it seems like after the Star Trek craze.
Oh, that's
the Playmates Star Trek craze. It was like, I don't know why I associate it with that, but it's just sort of like.
It's when they changed the aisles, the toy aisles, into those like end cap things. You know what I mean? Do you remember? I don't know.
They tried to spread it out more, and instead of going up, and going up was important.
It was important. The long hallways that went up to the ceiling, it was important. So they tried to change it, and I think also. I'm not a professional in the market, but I guess it was bought by Bain Capital, and anyone who knows Bain Capital, like they literally bought KB Toys so they could liquidate it because it was still successful, but they bought it, liquidated it because the people on the board would make more money that way. So it was still look it up. It's actually really depressing because even though there's no question that the toy market, the market in general with the internet, it's different. It's not as hot as it was. Like,
well, it's taking a shit because of video games, and I have nothing against video games, but like, I mean, we lived through the 80s, the best like time to be into toys.
Physical
ever.
toys. I agree.
I mean, now is actually better for quality, but it's different. It's collector grade.
I don't agree.
You have to be a rich man. For it, you know, where it's like. But to be a kid, we lived through the best.
We lived through the best. I mean, you know, the top dogs: G.I. Joe, Transformers, Star Wars, He-Man. I mean, I could keep going, and then you had every toy. Like, action figures was competitive, so every company was trying to come up with new ideas to become the new dog, and those
robots,
new
gimmicks, everything. It was great. The 80s, they just put it all out.
Yes,
like they'll never do it again.
Never do it again.
Never be anything like that again.
I would tell, like, I would ask, I'd be like, because I still go to toy stores, and I'd be like, hey guys, to my kids, I would say, let's go to Toys R Us, and they'd be like, no, I can't imagine a time in my life.
I would have freaked out as a kid.
Never,
anytime,
like,
oh,
anytime, yep. It was truly a treat. With that said, again, it's been rough. Like, I want to feel sad for Toys R Us, okay, because they're gone. But the thing is they were gone 10 years ago.
Yeah, more than that. I don't think... I mean, how many times did we go there just being like, do you guys even sell new toys? Yeah. Like, every time, it would suck because you knew they wouldn't have anything new. Only because it's like they'd get everything after everyone else. And it's like, why are you guys calling yourself Toys R Us when you have nothing new and you're overpriced? And it's
they're overpriced. Like, that was the thing. It's like...
It's frustrating.
It is absolutely frustrating. When we were teenage collectors, and I'm gonna cop to that, like, we would go to Toys R Us to look for the new X-Men figures or whatnot. You know, there was like 4 Toys R Us's in a certain realistic
We'd go to them.
We would go to them, and 1 out of 3 times you would find what you were looking for, or a semblance of what you were looking for. In the last couple of years, though, I mean, other than when we went to Canada and found those bumblebees,
which was awesome.
There was one other time when we went searching and we found the Titans Return figures, and that was really fun when they called up the other company. But other than that, like, I would skip Toys R Us. I would have more success going to a Target, a Walmart, a Walgreens. A Walgreens drugstore would become more fun than going to a Toys R Us.
Yeah, and it's like you'd get so depressed, like just going in there, and it was like.
You see, seeing walls of what's that character from the Star Wars Black Zuvio's character?
Yeah, Constable Zuvio, and just like all the old shit. Just
I give them credit towards the end. They did start carrying some of the, like, I guess, Figuarts. They did have a section, like a collector section, and I do appreciate that. I think that was an attempt to try to drive the collectors to the toy store and stuff. But the problem is you know, you'd be looking for that new assortment of whatever NECA, you know, alien figures, and they'd be sold out of all the character you want, and they just have a wall of, you know, the whatever Predator or whatever.
They missed out on a bunch of stuff. Like, I mean, they sold video games there.
Yeah.
Like, look at GameStop.
Yeah.
I'm sure helped put them out of business. Why couldn't Toys R Us have just been GameStop from day? You know, I mean, it's like they just didn't roll with the times. You know.
I think that was key. Is they didn't roll with times. They didn't look. If you're gonna have the balls to call your store Toys R Us, you've got to be
toys.
All of it. You've got to do it.
And I think they tried to, like, instead of going in a direction we would have, like, they went. And, like, we'll carry, like, baby supplies and stuff like that. And like, hey.
I mean, the baby supply section is, like, I get it. Like, it's useful.
Yeah.
But when they separated and made Babies R Us, like, what a waste of space that was.
Yeah, and it's like, that's not going to get you much street cred among the nerds.
Right.
And I don't know, it's sort of
how much do you think we fuel the industry or the economy or the... I mean, that's the thing is, like...
I don't know. I would imagine a lot.
My kids don't collect action figures. My kids have... I mean, like, if they have action figures, it's because I pushed it on them.
And there's nothing for them to get, though, that's new or that's significant to them, you know? Because it's like... You know, it's just the industry sucks.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that a little bit.
The thing is you could go, like we said, like you could go to Target and you hit 3 Targets and you'd have a better chance at a better price of finding a new Transformer than you would at Toys R Us. And in that, like, since we're shit talking Toys R Us, no offense if you worked at Toys R Us, but you know the employees weren't getting paid a lot, and it showed.
Yeah.
Like
I
remember,
didn't give a shit.
They didn't give a shit. Like there was a time when I would go to Toys R Us as a teenager, which was still awkward. I get it. And there would be another employee, and they would go in the back room, and they would find me my Toy Biz Iceman figure. Like they sort of gave a shit. Like when we were looking for Star Trek Borgs, you know.
Yeah,
but I can't say in the last that one time, other than like 1 or 2 times, they just don't care.
Yeah, it's
and
like
it shows.
You'd be like, hey, there's a toy, wait for it to come out. They had no idea.
Nope. Yeah.
They wouldn't even know how to look it up.
No.
You have to tell them all. Type in Masterpiece Transformer. View it, highest to... No, they just couldn't figure it out.
It was easier for us to do it.
Yeah. And you always hope that they would have some, like, inside scoop
Yeah.
in the stores. Like, I
Or
can
you
look
had
it up online, lady. Here it is.
Like I know this might sound impractical, but what if every store had a collector employee, employee who specialized?
Someone that gave a shit about toys,
absolutely.
you mean? Yeah, that'd be. You'd think that would be smart.
Like that would be a smart move. Look, I don't know what you pay him, but you pay him, you know, a little bit above minimum wage, and he's the expert or she's the expert of action figures. Stocking shit.
Getting stuff when it's relevant.
Talking to the customer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is, like, with the internet, it eliminates the hassle of going to a store. So it's like, I'll be honest with you, I support Amazon. I want to buy and get it and not have to hassle with anything at a good price. But if, let's say Toys R Us, if I walked in there and there was like an employee who was an expert in what that area was and gave a shit and communicated with me and proved or showed that they had some passion or interest to help me, that would really go far.
Yeah, well, I mean, not only that, but being able to see something in person that you wouldn't necessarily buy online. I mean, impulse buy.
Impulse buy.
Like, holy shit, that's sweet, I have to have it. That would just never... It's like there's almost no way for that to happen now if you're in a store, because it's... Like,
there's
you know about it already.
Right, absolutely. Exclusives are a good way to bring people in the store, but I can't really say that Toys R Us had some great exclusives either, but I mean... you'd find Target exclusives
they
in
had
Walmart.
a $400 Falcon.
Yes, that's true.
They repackaged a Falcon and added $150 on it.
Well, here was a good move that they did. They brought in the Transformers Masterpiece. The problem is, you never found them.
Yep.
You never found them, and they have this exclusive that you can't find. And the only one that was...
And that should have been just the normal line that they'd carried.
Yes.
That should be... They should have just brought it over to the States, marked it down a little bit, and sold the shit out of it.
Absolutely. There's no excuse for that.
Yeah,
There's no excuse that granted, the Barricade, I think, was at the end of Toys R Us. Never saw it in Toys R Us. I don't know if it ever actually made it to Toys R Us.
I'm curious if anybody ever found that.
No. Honestly, like the Bumblebee movie Masterpiece, the only time I ever saw it was in Canada. I didn't ever see it in U.S. retail.
Nope.
You saw the Prime once.
Once.
Yeah, I mean, it does not, like, again, my overall memory of Toys R Us is it was a magical experience because I was a kid. I just feel sorry for...
kids today won't have it.
Yeah.
They didn't know how to preserve it. I mean, do you think they'll ever recreate it? Do you think there's room for a store to just...
exist as a toy store? I do.
Or just a nerd store.
I do.
A nerd, you'd have to carry, like, movies and stuff like...
So, like, I think GameStop is sort of doing more of that. I do think there's room for... I know that KB is trying to come back into the industry. I think there's room for a smaller scale toy store. And I say, why not just make a collectible toy store? Because, I mean, in that sense, like, that is a niche market.
Have glass showcases.
Yeah. Do you remember KB used to have
Yes, I remember that with the dinky section.
Yeah.
The die-cast metal toys.
The Matchbox spinner they had.
My brother and I used to drool over that shit. Like,
yeah.
And I was young. I mean, those are some of my earliest memories. I remember they were carpeted.
Mm-hmm.
Carpeted with, like, the hopscotch.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it looked like fun to be at.
Yeah,
you know? It's like, yeah.
I mean, that's another thing is that like Toys R Us lost its fun appeal. You know, they should have hired Jeffrey to hang out in the outfit and like greet everyone on a Saturday. Like they used to do that stuff.
Yeah,
and
make it cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Make it cool.
Show that you care. And that, unfortunately, that magic was gone because, I'm going to say, because of corporate greed and market changes. But with that said, I do think that there is room for a major toy retailer. It's just, you can't just make it exist and people are going to come. You have to care. You have to care about your customer base. You have to know what you're dealing with. You're competing with online sales, which is really easy.
Sucks, because you
is.
Can't match the price.
No, you can't.
But you can have it here on the spot.
You can match the experience.
Check it out. Yeah, you can say, check this out. You have a nerdy guy telling you how cool the fucking toy is, which, okay.
A salesperson.
Which makes it sort of worth it sometimes, you know?
Absolutely. Like, that's a good feeling, like, when you can go into a store and there's a salesperson who actually knows what they're talking about and, you know, shows passion. It's kind of like, I guess, having your favorite local comic book store, and then there's the, you know, the one guy that like you always like to go in and talk to because he knew what he was talking about and he was friendly. And comic book stores aren't always the friendliest place. Sometimes you have to become in with the crowd. Because I mean, we worked at a comic book store, and I'm gonna flat out say I was a dick. I was such a dick. I was just arrogant. Like I felt like I was above anybody.
But well, I mean, when people are coming asking you for shit, they sort of are. I mean, it's like, where's this?
Yes.
What's that? They're always asking you something that they don't know. So,
right. I mean, I was cool. Like you had to like prove yourself to me, and if you could prove yourself to me, we were totally cool. But you did have to do that.
But you were half a dick compared to the people you worked with.
No, that's true.
I mean, you might have been a little arrogant.
I was arrogant.
Terry's pricing?
Yeah.
Oh
that was
my God.
That was outrageous.
Jesus.
I mean, you know, the comic book store we worked at, the owner had a reputation of being a straight up asshole. So to be honest with you, like we could only be nicer than him.
Yeah, exactly. That was a special time.
That was a special time. I mean, when you can mix so many personalities and everything vibes, it was special.
And that was like our first like connection to people outside of our high school.
Absolutely.
Or at least for me.
No,
it
me
was
too.
Like older people.
Adults.
Adults, yeah.
That's true. I mean, and also like an experience where like people would look to us for our knowledge.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, it was an experience. I never worked at a toy store though. Did you? I don't think you Toys R Us or anything. That would be a tough job, especially at the holidays, man. I do not envy
working all those crazy hours.
All the crazy people.
But nothing would ever get out to the public. If I worked at one, I'd buy all the cool stuff. I mean, I hate to, and that probably happened more times than not.
Yeah, well,
but why would you let it go out if you could sell it for a couple extra bucks to Kenny Friedman?
Yeah. What's even worse is that I think I knew a couple toy show vendors who coincidentally had a table full of Toys R Us exclusive figures. I think they were stolen out of the back door. That's pretty terrible. You know, I guess that happens. But yeah, I mean, if I worked at a Toys R Us, those Borg, they would have been put aside. I would have bought them.
Yeah, every one. I wouldn't even have left one.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
See, I think actually, like, I think my passion, like, my joy of toy collecting was sharing it. So I definitely would have, like...
Me too. I would have still sold it to my buddy for the same price. Yeah, I just want to be cool having it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, with that said, look, R.I.P. Toys R Us, there's no doubt that you helped create or make my childhood experience better
and kept us as grown man children for longer.
That's right. Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. I wish you guys stayed true a little bit longer, and I think you wouldn't be in this predicament, but it is a tough market out there. With that said, R.I.P. Toys R Us. Any final words?
Nope.
Until next time,
nerd out.
Goodbye, Jeffrey. Goodbye.
I cannot believe this, dude.
We found it. We came. We saw it. We kicked its ass. We almost left. We almost left. Checked the. We checked the session. We checked.
Collector.
I can't even speak. We checked the Transformer section. Nothing. We were holding our heads up. We had nothing on our hands but our dicks. We came in. We found it.
We found them.